Hello everybody, my name's Michael, and I'm going to be your tour guide today as we lift the veil of secrecy on some of Hollywood's hottest film locations. Alright friends, congrats on surviving Earthquake, the big one. I'll meet you up with you later in this Enter Next Riot Zone.
Don't think you're getting away! Come in the clouds!
Way to go, buddy!
Don't climb another missile shot!
Not gonna happen! Don't worry, I got this!
Once again, I want to make sure everybody does watch their hands and feet as we close these gates. Last check, I think everybody now has a pair of 3D glasses. Please, you're smiling at and yelling at Michael, you're never going to see them again. Ever. Ever. That's right. What is
You look up to your screen so you can see that voice is not coming from a robot, but from your guide. Hello everybody, my name's Michael, and I'm going to be your tour guide today as we lift the veil of secrecy on some of Hollywood's hottest film locations. Now I know y'all are excited to get ready on our tour, but I want to make sure everybody has a pair of these wonderful, these nifty, these beautiful 3D glasses. If you do not have a pair of 3D glasses, do me a favor everyone, raise your hand up high into the air and we can get a pair on over to you. If you're just joining us, my name is Michael and I'm your tour guide, but I want to introduce somebody even more important on our tour. Everybody give it up for our driver, Shawl, everybody! Oh, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. That was like music to my ears. A symphony for my heart. Alright friends, so me and Shawl aren't alone here on our tour. You may recognize my co-host. You may have seen him in Saturday Night Live with Jimmy Fallon, or The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon with Jimmy Fallon. In fact, my co-host is none other than Jimmy Fallon. Take it away, Jimmy.
Even though
Michael.
it's supposed to be $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, Jimmy. We do have a few safety rules to go over. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram or have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red E-cord that runs on the center of the seat of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use the red cord above your head if you need any assistance. The studio is private property. If at any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated. Please, no smoking of any kind during the tour. Be prepared, our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, our cameras out for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet or lost. Finally, for safety for those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you're on board. Now friends, as we descend down this hill, we're going to be starting on our first leg of our journey on our studio tour, which is our front lot. But on either side of the tram, you'll see these large movie posters, and these movie posters date as far back as the opening of our studio, or rather the titles that are of these posters. And our studio opened 104 years ago, on March 15th, 1915. In fact, if you look to the screens above, you can see some of the earliest photos that were taken here at our studio. And our founder had an idea that you would invite audiences to come and watch movies being made. And in that tradition, in 1964, we began operation of the world-famous studio tour as all of you are experiencing it today. In fact, you're joining us on our 55th anniversary of the studio tour. Now, in those 104 years of movie-making history that we've had here at Universal, we've had 8,000 films produced here. And among those 8,000 films, 10 of them have won the Academy Award for Best Picture, including the most recent winner, which was Green Book, starring Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali. Now, in the early days at our studio, we had silent movies, but in the late 1920s came the introduction of sound, and thus the introduction of these large warehouse-like buildings you see over here on the left-hand side, which are called sound stages. And the very first soundstage we passed by is Soundstage 12, currently home to NBC's hit singing competition The Voice, hosted by Carson Daly with celebrity coaches Gwen Stefani, Kelly Clarkson, John Legend, and Blake Shelton. But Soundstage 12 is home to some of the biggest productions that we've had here at Universal, including Dracula's Castle, Frankenstein's Laboratory, Scarface's Mansion, and the Visitor Center from Jurassic Park. Now these sound stages allow the director to have greater control over the lighting and the audio in their films. But because they can only isolate up to 95% of outside noise, we don't want to interfere with any of the audio recording of those productions inside these sound stages. So I have to lower my microphone's volume just a tiny bit. In fact, later on in the tour, there may be a moment where I'm going to have to go completely off my microphone, but I'll set you up for that just before then. So, just so as to let you know. But over here in these sound stages, they've been home to iconic movies like Red Dragon, Psycho, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and Bruce Almighty. But sound stages 16 and 17 over here on the left-hand side are currently home to NBC's hit comedy Superstore, starring America Ferrera, Ben Feldman, and Mark McKinney. In fact, over on the left-hand side, you may be able to spot that some of the doors on the inside of that soundstage are open and allow you a little peek into what the inside looks like. Now, Superstore is a massive production. It actually occupies 3 of our sound stages. In addition to sound stages 16 and 17 that you pass by, they also take up the use of soundstage 21 just up ahead on the left-hand side of the tram when we round out this corner. Now they're currently setting up for their next season. You can see several of the trucks and the trailers that are outside that soundstage. Those can house anything from wardrobe, hair, makeup, props, even the stars' dressing rooms and the snacks. And it's why you call it Productions Base Camp. And you want to have those elements ready and on hand in case you need to make a quick change or take a quick break. And whereas Universal has 104 years of movie-making history, NBC, the other side of our company, has 80 years of television broadcast history. The very first television broadcast being for the opening of the 1939 World's Fair in New York City. And in those 80 years, we've had a number of iconic productions. Maybe you can spot a few of your favorites on the screens above you. Now, some of the sitcoms that have filmed inside these sound stages include The Jeffersons, Different Strokes, and One Day at a Time. But over on your right-hand side, starring Christina Hendricks from Mad Men, Retta from Parks and Recreation, and Mae Whitman, who also filmed NBC's Parenthood here on our lot for 6 seasons. Now, these sound stages can have entire sets constructed there to resemble a house, an apartment, restaurants, bars, anything that you would need for your production, all to film inside. Over here on your right-hand side, you'll be able to spot the Minions from Illumination Entertainment's Despicable Me and Minions movies. Illumination Entertainment is also the studio that brings you The Secret Life of Pets and The Secret Life of Pets 2, which is currently out now in theaters. But friends, I want to just stop and say hello to a friend of mine here on our tour. Just up ahead on the left-hand side, you'll be able to spot him. Everybody say hi, Ted. And Ted the teddy bear isn't the only famous Ted that works around this area. In fact, over here on the right-hand side, sound stages 43 and 44 are home to the interior sets for The Good Place, starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. In fact, they're currently working on their 4th and final season. But before a cast and a crew can be assembled on a set or a soundstage, you have to go through a process called pre-production. And pre-production includes anything from the writing, the budgeting, and the casting. A lot of pre-production actually takes place in these bungalows that you'll be able to spot up ahead over here on the left-hand side of the trail. Now, these bungalows house production offices like Mark Platt Productions, which produced La La Land and is currently working on a movie adaptation of the musical Wicked, as well as Jennifer Lopez's New Eurekan Productions, which produces World of Dance, the reality dance competition on NBC, and Elizabeth Banks' Brownstone Productions, which produces the Pitch Perfect movies, as well as the upcoming Charlie's Angels movie. But before these were the bungalows and the production offices for some of those iconic Elizabeth Taylor. But I'm going to point out one of the most iconic bungalows that we have here. Just up ahead on the left-hand side of the tram, you'll notice a bungalow distinguished by a familiar silhouette. That was the one-time office of the master of suspense and horror himself, Alfred Hitchcock. In fact, he used this bungalow when he was working on the television series Alfred Hitchcock Presents. But he was also the director of iconic horror movies like Psycho, Vertigo, and The Birds. But currently his office is home to the De Laurentiis Company, which brings the legend of Dr. Hannibal Lecter to the large and the small screen, and also produced movies like Dune and Blue Velvet with director David Lynch. Now, the last soundstage I'll point out here on our tour and of our front lot is over here on the left-hand side. And this is one of the newest sound stages we have here, and it was dedicated as the Will and Grace Soundstage in honor of the NBC comedy, which is currently in its 2nd run on NBC, which stars Eric McCormick, Deborah Messing, Sean Hayes, and Megan Mullally. Now, this side of the soundstage we're passing by over here on the left-hand side is actually the production offices and the dressing rooms that you could use for that very same soundstage. And they share that same space with America's Got Talent, hosted by Terry Crews, which filmed several of their episodes inside that soundstage as well. But the very first production to have utilized that soundstage was Hairspray Live, starring Jennifer Hudson and Maddie Bayo. Now, Hairspray Live filmed all their interior sets inside that very same soundstage, but during commercial breaks, they would run out across the street into the next part of our tour that you'll see just up ahead on the left-hand side, which is our Metropolitan sets. In fact, in that clip, you can catch a glimpse of what those Metropolitan sets look like, and they can resemble any major city that you would need to. And you can transform it into 1960s Baltimore, like in Hairspray. For Live by Night, it was turned into Boston, and for several movies, it was used for New York, including for or it was even used for London, for Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham, was shot in there. And our Metropolitan sets is also home to several of the obstacle courses for American Ninja Warrior on NBC. But let's get a better glimpse of what our Metropolitan sets would look like, as they're a combination of what we call facades and practical sets. In fact, if you look to the screens above you, you can see several examples of what those facades look like. And it really means that's just the very front or the sides of a building. And it's French for the word front. So your imagination does the rest of the work and fills in the rest of it. But some of those are actually what we call practical sets, and you can see in the screens above you what the inside of a practical set looks like. Now, they're different from facades because they have a small little bit of an interior space in case you need to film inside of them as well. But let's get a better glimpse of our New York street through the eyes of Jimmy Fallon.
I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. It's cool, guys. I was just, just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro set.
Street over here on the left-hand side of the tram as we pass by it. We've actually had some active filming there. The other day, they were actually filming an episode of NCIS. But friends, we've worked with a lot of iconic directors here, ranging from Steven Spielberg, Angelina Jolie, Jordan Peele, as well as Peter Jackson, who brought to life in 2005 the movie King Kong.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up on the edge. And Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to need to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just put them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
That's right, friends. Adventure awaits just around the corner as we make our way back to Skull Island. So just a reminder, remain seated at all times and hold on to your personal belongings, as we're not sure what we'll encounter. But let's see if we can get us energized for our trip back to Skull Island. Now, when I say King, you say Kong. Ready? King. Kong. King. Kong. King. Kong. Now, when I say T, you say Rex. T. Rex. T. Rex. T. Rex. King. Kong. Oh, caught some of you. All right, friends. Let's see as we head on back to Skull Island.
home as a product.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. That was King Kong 363D. Give yourselves a round of applause, everyone. Those effects were pretty bananas, weren't they? Alright, I saw those dinosaurs. They were slobbering left and right. So really important question. Did anyone get wet? I should have said this at the start of the tour, but if you're sitting in a blue seat, you're in the splash zone. Don't bother looking. They're all blue. Alright friends, now do me a favor and hold on to those 3D glasses. We're not going to need them for a while on our tour, but I'll be sure to point out when we do, but just keep them handy, just in case. Now what you all just experienced was one of the most advanced techniques in filmmaking. Those 3D effects were projected on screens that were 40 feet tall and 180 feet wide. And the movie itself was made by director Peter Jackson in collaboration with the team at Weta Digital, a New Zealand-based digital effects company that has won 6 Academy Awards for their works on movies including King Kong, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit films, as well as Avengers Endgame and The Jungle Book. Now you may have seen in King Kong 363D, dragged it into the action. Well, don't be alarmed. The guests are safe and sound. In fact, that was the team at Weta Digital inserting themselves in the movie as a little Easter egg. But we were able to recover that tram car, and it looks like it was pretty badly damaged between that King Kong and the dinosaurs. In fact, it's just over here on the right-hand side. But I'm sure we could probably bump out all those scratches and have it up and running in no time. But the minute that it became a part of the action of the movie, it became what we call a picture car. And a picture car, simply put, is any car you see in a movie or TV show. In fact, it's not uncommon for picture cars to become just as iconic as the stars who drive them. Alright friends, we get those cameras ready. We have a few iconic picture cars lined up here on the left-hand side of the tram. The first one is Kid from the 2008 series of Knight Rider, who's actually voiced by Val Kilmer in that series. And then you have Magnum PI's Ferrari. Now here's an interesting little tidbit about that Ferrari. Under the hood, there's actually a Volkswagen engine. Now the reason you would swap out the engine for a car is because a Ferrari's engine is very loud, but a Volkswagen is a little bit more quiet. So that way it doesn't interfere with any of the audio recording you may have. And those Flintstones cars actually have golf cart engines under the hood there as well. So if you ever get tired of pushing them around with your feet, you can just turn the key and drive away. We've also got the gyrosphere from Jurassic World here on the left, and if you're wondering where the glass is in the gyrosphere, well, glass would actually reflect back the camera during filming, so you would have to add the glass in later in the post-production editing process. Now friends, I know this is really exciting, but we need you to remain seated at all times for your own personal safety, and so our tram can continue moving. I see you in there in car 3, please remain seated. Alright, thanks friends. And over here on the left-hand side, you'll spot a few military vehicles from the Transformers movies. The last one there is called a Bradley fighter vehicle, and it looks really intimidating. But that Bradley fighter vehicle is made entirely of plywood, but painted to look much more heavy and durable than it actually is. But if you so wished, you could actually pick it up and push it right off the cliff with absolute ease. But one of my own personal favorite picture cars were the ones that were seen in the Jurassic Park movies. In fact, I have a friend who has something he'd like to say to you.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Now, friends, on either side of the tram, you'll see some of the iconic picture cars and props from the Jurassic Park movies. Jurassic Park being one of the most hugely successful franchises here at Universal, with its second spin-off of movies, the Jurassic World movies, both grossing over $1 billion at the box office. In fact, we're currently working on the third installment in the series, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Over here on your right-hand side, we have the boat from Jurassic Park 3. And on your left is the mobile lab from The Lost World Jurassic Park, which starred Jeff Goldblum and Julianne Moore. Now, dinosaurs are such an important part of our DNA here at Universal that we have to keep them ready and camera ready in these cages that we have here. Uh-oh. Looks like some of the dinosaurs may have gotten out, so if you see any, just let me know, okay? I'm so proud of you folks for surviving a dinosaur attack from the Spitters. Now, the Jurassic Park movies took you into an island off the coast of Costa Rica called Isla Nublar. But a lot of the filming was actually done in Hawaii, with several scenes here done in our backlot, and some of our sound stages that we passed by earlier. But an important part about establishing the setting of this lush, tropical rainforest, where it's believable for these huge, prehistoric dinosaurs to have actually lived, researchers spent a lot of time looking up and seeing what the environment these dinosaurs would have lived in would have looked like. In fact, if you looked at either side of the tram, you may be able to spot that some of these trees and these logs aren't real. Many of them are made of plaster and fiberglass and chicken wire, but painted to look like actual trees. And if you look closely enough, you may be able to spot some of the handles that are hidden on them. Now, they're a very lightweight material. You can carry them onto a set them down, and have it ready for a take. And when you're ready to film the next scene, just rearrange the order, and you establish a different setting. But another important part of establishing this rainforest was the use of actual rain. And weather played a really important part, not just in establishing the setting, but also in establishing the mood of the films. Did you ever notice whenever the T-Rex was on the screen, it always seemed to be dark and rainy? Well, that was on purpose. It was all about building up the tension and the suspense of the movies. You were never sure just what was going to happen next. And here in Southern California, we have a unique problem. We have the same old, gorgeous, boring sunshine day in and day out. So when the script calls for rain, we have to get a little bit more creative. And as we come into here in Old Mexico, looks like we're going to be due for some rain. So let's see how we can make that happen. Now, the thunder is played over speakers that are hidden above the buildings, and every time it goes off, it gives an impression of thunder rolling in the distance. Actual thunder would interfere with the actor's dialogue or any audio recording you may have, so you would add it in later. And the lightning is flash cubes and strobe effects that go off over the buildings as well. And the water from the rain is this really sophisticated technology. Are you ready for this? Sprinklers. Maybe you have some at home. You take the sprinklers, put them high up, turn the water on, the water shoots up into the air, and gravity does the rest, and it falls back to the ground looking naturally. But sometimes here in Old Mexico, it rains a little bit too much. In fact, does anyone hear that low rumbling noise? Uh-oh, there it is. Looks like we're in for a flash flood, everyone. Take cover. Now, all the water from that flash flood scene runs down the hill, goes under the bridge where it gets piped up to the very top and stored in a tank, ready to soak the next tram that passes by through here. And that flash flood scene was seen in movies like Big Fat Liar, starring Paul Giamatti, Frankie Muniz, and Amanda Bynes, or music videos like Lady Gaga's for her song Judas, where she stood at the bottom of the hill and the waves crashed over her in slow motion. And both those productions also use this next part of our Old Mexico set, as well as Three Amigos starring Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase, and Nacho Libre starring Jack Black. And for HBO's Westworld, this area was turned into the town of Pariah for one episode. But we have a saying here at Universal that the world is just around the corner. And it literally is. And you never have to leave our backlot as we cross the border away from Old Mexico and into our 6 Points Texas set that we have over here. Now, 6 Points is one of the oldest sets that we have here at Universal. And it dates as far back as the silent era. It got its name 6 Points because at one time there were 6 streets that were complete towns. Each town had its own bank, saloon, sheriff, and you could film 6 movies all at the same time, and didn't interfere with anybody else's production. But even though this is one of the oldest sets that we have here at Universal, it was used for a movie that's coming out tomorrow that I'm personally really excited about to go see, which is Quentin Tarantino's upcoming 9th feature film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. In fact, Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio shot several scenes right here at 6 Points. But even though there's some of the biggest stars of today that have shot out here, some of the biggest Western stars of all times have also shot here, including John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, Kirk Douglas, and Clint Eastwood. In fact, here's a couple clips of them at work here on our sets. Alright friends, as we deliver our park shots and mosey on out of 6 Points, I do want to point out we are approximately at the halfway point in our tour. So, just a reminder to remain seated during the entire tour. The studio is private property. If you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the red cord to get my attention and I will be back to assist you. But do remain seated on the tram. Now friends, over here on the left-hand side as we round out this corner, you'll see this very large lake that we have here. Now this is our Park Lake area. But at one time it was called the Hollywood Ocean. And the Hollywood Ocean was turned into the Mississippi River for the movie musical Showboat starring Irene Dunne and Paul Robeson. And for McHale's Navy it was turned into the Pacific Ocean. And for the creature from the Black Lagoon, this was actually the Black Lagoon. The creature being one of many movie monsters that were some of the biggest and earliest successes here at Universal, including Dracula, Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, and The Wolfman. And several of those monster movies also shot over here in the next part of our tour, just over here on the left-hand side, which is our Little Europe sets, one of the oldest sets that we have here as well. But from the living dead to the afterlife, Little Europe is also home to the exterior sets for The Good Place starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. Now friends, I could lower my volume just a tiny bit. We do have some active filming going on. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll spot the set for Home and Family, a Hallmark talk show hosted by Cameron Madison and Debbie Magnopoulos. But speaking of an audio reduction, we're going to enter into this soundstage and see what the inside looks like. Now friends, hold on tight and remember to hold on to your personal belongings. The cast and the crew is currently on their break right now and you don't want to disturb any of their setup that they have here. But after we get out of this soundstage, you're going to see this screen pop up. Now don't be alarmed, that means absolutely nothing to you. You are more than welcome to talk amongst yourselves and take as many photos as you like. Once we exit this soundstage, I just have to turn off my audio completely. But just hold on tight and I'll be right back with you as soon as it's safe to do so. Now this soundstage is Soundstage 55, and it's one of the biggest ones that we have here at Universal. It's actually 2 stories. This area is outfitted to look like a San Francisco subway station. Okay. No need to be alarmed. We get tremors here all the time in Southern California. This is the safest place during an earthquake, so just hold on tight, everyone. This could actually be the big one. least it wasn't a tsunami, right? Uh-oh. Alright friends, congrats on surviving Earthquake, the big one. I'll meet you up with you later in this Entry Quiet Zone. And the back. Sorry about that, folks. We did have some active filming there. You probably saw several of the crews outside some of our sets that we saw there. Everybody have a good time in Jaws? I didn't. I lost a friend of mine. I'm gonna miss him. He was an old chum. All right, friends. Now this area is actually one of our other sets. This is called Wilderness Road, and it's the perfect location in case you need to film a campfire scene like for Netflix's Bird Box starring Sandra Bullock. Over here on the right-hand side, folks, you'll see some of the sets from Whoville, from How the Grinch Stole Christmas by director Ron Howard. And The Grinch was a massive production. It actually occupied 11 of our 28 sound stages. One of those sound stages entirely dedicated to hair, makeup, and prosthetics. But the Grinch is a nasty neighbor to deal with, but they're not doing too well here in our back lot either, because next door they have to deal with a real psycho. This is the Bates Motel, the iconic setting of the 1960 horror classic Psycho by director Alfred Hitchcock. Now, as you can see, there are 12 cabins and 12 vacancies. So if you ever feel like a shower, be sure to check out their drop-dead rates. Now, the character Norm Bates worked at the motel, but he lived in the house just up the hill behind it at the Psycho house with his mother. In fact, some people say you can still see his mother in the upstairs second floor window. And Psycho was a hugely controversial movie at the time, not because of all the blood and guts of murder, but because it was the very first movie to feature a flushing toilet on the screen. But we're going to be entering into the most intricate sets that we have here at Universal, friends. This is the War of the Worlds set from 2004's War of the Worlds by director Steven Spielberg and starring Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. And yes, that is an actual 747 airplane you see cut up into pieces on the left-hand side of the tram there. But here to talk about the design for the set is Steven Spielberg himself and production designer Rick Carter.
The airplane crash site set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Okay, I'm closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
War of the Worlds wasn't the only production to have shot out here. It was used for an episode of Angie Tribeca, as well as for an episode of America's Next Top Model for a zombie-themed photo shoot. And it's also where we trained search and rescue dogs for search and rescue missions by our first responders. But friends, War of the Worlds is approximately 10 minutes away from the end of the tour, and we will be returning to the theme park shortly. Just a reminder to remain seated at all times and hold on to your personal belongings, and to pull the emergency cord if you need assistance. Now, friends, we're going to be entering into one of the most popular locations to film here on our lot. But just up ahead on the right-hand side, you'll spot this log cabin that was constructed for the great outdoors, starring John Candy. And the log cabin is an example of a project home to some of the biggest productions that I've shot here in our lot, including the movie Sully, starring Tom Hanks.
Evacuate.
Now pause that Sully clip right here just to illustrate how this area was used for that shot. Now the water is real, the plane is real, the actors are real. The only thing not real in that shot is the New York City skyline in the background that was all digitally imposed on that blue screen over there in our Falls Lake. And the area in front of it can hold over 2 million gallons of water and takes 3 days to film. Other productions that I've shot out here include Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk and The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, starring Jennifer Lawrence. But friends, we've talked a lot about how movies are made here at Universal, but I think it's about time to take all of you into the movies. How does that sound? So, we're going to take you into the world of the Fast and the Furious, and you all are about to become actors. But here's the premise. One of you is an undercover witness. An international criminal, Owen Shaw, is after them. So, we're going to head inside this garage, and hopefully Shaw won't be able to spot us in here. But just a reminder, folks, to hold on to your personal belongings and remain seated. We don't want to give ourselves away then and have Shaw spot us in here. Alright, looks like we're getting the go-ahead, so let's see what it looks like inside.
They just got here. All right, I got it. But listen, hello, beautiful people, particularly you right there missing the third row. How you doing? You good? My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. My buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you from Shaw for a while. So we brought you in our secret spot We're having a few friends over. It's a little messy, but it's all good. The more the merrier. Especially you right there in that third row, like I was saying. So look, see over there? That's Hobbs' urban assault vehicle. Best truck the U.S. government can buy. That work of art back over there was made by my man Tej. Think of it as like a Mona Lisa on wheels.
So did you break it down to them?
What's that?
You had one job to do, Roman, one. All right, look, guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone could give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
So like I was saying, the third row, right? He's saying college.
Alright friends, now I know that this garage is where a lot of drag racers will come after their races and party. Looks like we're going to be crashing a party right now. You can hear the music playing in the next room. We're just waiting for word from the bouncer to head on in. Oh, it looks like we're getting the go-ahead. Let's check this out, folks.
FBI, don't move.
Ma'am?
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. Got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of something.
You see what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Man.
It was on vibrate.
Shaw traced us. Ops can't hold it forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Alright friends, this Shaw guy is no joke. So we're going to hide out inside the Jurassic garage and hopefully you won't be able to spot us in here. But let's take a moment and go ahead and put on our 3D glasses on now to protect our identity and the identity of the witness on board. Oh, looks like we're getting a red emergency cord pull, everybody. If this is a medical emergency, please pull the red cord again. Address what the E-cord pull was for.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
After them!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. Open them up. This thing ain't moving fast enough. Letty, hook him up. I got the ball by the horn. Now we're moving. Stop! Look out!
traction! Hit the nitrous! Ride or die!
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Fast and Furious Supercharged. Give yourselves a round of applause. And let's give it up for our driver, Shaw, everyone. He jumped a bridge. And in Los Angeles traffic, and that is amazing. Oh, looks like we're getting a message from Dominus crew. Let's see what they have to say. And my friend that pulled the red emergency cord, hold on tight. I'll be right back there to assist you as soon as it's safe for us to pull over.
Over job, everybody. You've protected the witness and you can resume breathing.
You know, it's crazy out there. There's red heart. Respect.
Now, my Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it.
They say the bigger the family, the stronger it is. You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
Oh, thanks, Dom. See you at the gym sometime, huh? Oh, who am I kidding? I don't go to the gym. Alright, friends, Fast and Furious actually reminds me of a couple of famous cars, including our tram. And that last clip there of that gentleman, that was actually me on my first day, everyone. Alright, friends, now we are approaching the end of the tour, and we will be returning to the theme park shortly. But before we part ways, I have a long list of people that I'd like to thank, just like the Academy Awards. I'd like to thank King Kong for rescuing us from the jaws of a T-Rex, Dom and his crew for getting us back safely, and another big round of applause to our driver, Shaw. Thank all of you for joining us on our tour today. Now here's an inside tip as we make our way back. If you haven't already done so, be sure to download the Universal Studios Hollywood app for up-to-date show times, wait times, and park hours. For instance, we close tonight at 10 o'clock p.m. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to check out Waterworld, a live Sea War spectacular. The next show should be at approximately 4:15, with another one after that at 5:30. We want to get there about 20 minutes earlier so that we can get some of the best seats in the house. Or be sure to check out Jurassic World, which is open now on our lower lot. In fact, it's probably perfect for a hot day like this, just to get a little bit of a splash from that ride. Or come back next year for the opening of the ride for the Secret Life of Pets. Now, friends, again, my name is Michael. It's been my honor to have been your tour guide today. If you have any questions about anything that you saw on the tour, anything in the park, or any Universal movies, come on by. I'll be standing in front of the digital directory, which is all the wait times for the rides that we have there. Or even if you want to just give me a friendly fist bump on your way out. Now, hold on tight, everyone, until the studio tour ambassadors come down the line and open those tram gates for us. But I want to say something, which is, on behalf of myself, all of us here at NBC Universal, I want to say thank you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day here at Universal Studios Hollywood, the entertainment capital of LA. And as we say in the biz, that is a wrap. Take it away, Meryl.